Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I'm Iain.
I'm Gary.
I'm Geoff.
And today we're going to talk about a movie that came out in 2008 by director Simon Hunter, Mutant Chronicles. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story starts at the end of the last ice age, where a device falls from space and crashes into the Earth. Mutants start to come out of the machine and starts to kill all of the humans on the Earth. Some religious people manage to fight the mutants back and then seal the machine off from the rest of the world and keep it hidden. Then in the year 2707, four massive corporations are controlling the world and are fighting for the Earth's resources. Two armies are fighting in Europe and unearth the seal and accidentally blow it up and start to release the mutants. The mutants then start killing all the people on the Earth, and it falls to Ron Perlman, the head of the secret society, to form a ragtag group of mercenaries to go into the machine and blow it up. I'm just going to start by saying that this film is stupid. It is cheesy. It is just completely over the top cheesiness, but I love it.
There's a lot of reasons to like, love, and hate this movie.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to know that the origin of this movie pretty much comes from pen and paper roleplay games, which was eventually adapted into board games before becoming a graphic novel, before eventually becoming the movie that we know today. And it should also be known that this is a very low budget movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a budget of about 22 million. And considering the amount of actors that are in this film and the amount of special effects in it, you can see for the most part that it was money pretty well spent. The opening of this film is very convoluted and very exposition heavy.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have the voice of Ron Perlman introducing us to the world and pretty much telling us everything that we need to know. You can already pick plot holes in this opening, and if you're in that mentality where you're starting to pick holes in it straight away, just turn it off, because already this film is not for you.
The Chronicles promised us that one would rise and follow the path of Nachdan down into hell itself and deliver mankind from oblivion. I traveled to see the corporations, to plead with them, to fulfill the prophecy and defeat the enemy of man.
This film is for those with some imagination that just want to see it explode on the screen. Maybe not perfectly, but still explode on the screen. Because after that, we are treated to about a 20-minute trench warfare movie. It pretty much combines World War I and II with this steampunk technology.
Well, don't pick at it, son. It makes it worse.
I like to think I have a very good imagination. You know, I can sit down and watch anything. This film, I've watched 4 times. 2 of those times I fell asleep halfway through. I tried to stay awake. I tried to keep up with the story. But like we said, you know, the opening sequence, it's very Imperial Guard-esque from 40K. You've got these just 2 massive company-based armies fighting each other. These weirdly okay special effects with like the armored steampunk cars coming over the horizon, and then you've got the bombardment cannons blowing them up. But the film is mainly kept above drowning point with the acting. The acting, you've got Thomas Jane, who I think is absolutely brilliant ever since I saw him in The Mist. You've got Ron Perlman, who in my eyes can never do any wrong.
That's right.
You've got John Malkovich. You've got Devon Aoki from Dead or Alive. You've got Anna Walton, who played the princess in Hellboy 2 as the silent monk helping Ron Perlman. And then to top it all off, you've got our boy, Sean Pertwee.
One morning you woke up. Extremely nasty case. But I don't give a fuck.
Hell yeah. Sean Pertwee constantly appears in very low budget movies.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I would usually say he cameos in most of these movies because his life expectancy is about the same as Sean Bean's.
Come on, let's have that!
It reminds me of Fallout, you know? It's like a film for the gamer generation, or that's the target where they've aimed at. Because as soon as like the film starts, you've got Ron Perlman narrating, and you're like, it's very like war never changes kind of type narration to enter.
At the end of the Ice Age, the machine came. It came from outside. It came from space. It came with one purpose. War. War never changes.
And then you get this kind of dystopian future come into view, and it's a bit like, you know, like time's been kind of rolled back because, you know, they've, I guess, blown each other into oblivion, so they kind of recycled history type thing. So it very much reminds me of Fallout, and especially when they were like busting out the old, you know, priesthood, you know, like, oh, the keepers of the machine was like the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
You know, so there's like loads of little things where you can see they're been inspired by a few different kind of like modern pop culture, kind of gaming culture references.
See, the mutants as well, they remind me a lot of Dead Space. You know, with the relic, and the relic turns people into these monsters,
big slashing arm.
You know, and obviously the mutants, they kill people or they injure them, and then they drag them back to the machine so that they can be turned into more mutants, and then they go out and obviously they start to capture more people. But obviously, like I said, with the problem with the special effects is that you do literally every mutant looks the fucking same. You know, they've all got staples in their head holding their brains in. They've all got like one arm that's just one sharp point of flesh, and I'm just like, okay, right, I want to see some diversity in the creatures. You know, if these are the soldiers, you must have elites. You know, there must be one thing absolutely controlling them. But you never find that. You know, you're constantly just following Ron Perlman around, and Ron Perlman's just trying to convince everybody to come with him to try and stop this machine, and everyone's like, fuck that, we're going to Mars.
A chance to save the world. Maybe the last chance.
Well, fuck mankind. Fuck the world. Fuck you.
And that was one of my favourite parts at the beginning of the movie, is where we are introduced to the film's heroes.
Yeah.
And Ron Perlman, after having a scene with John Malkovich, is given these evacuation passes, and that's literally his bait to go and recruit as many people as he can to go on this mission. And of course, each character, for me, was distinctly unique.
Jesus Pereira. He wouldn't go unless I promised his mother it meant he would go to heaven. I did. God forgive me. John Maguire, the only soldier who refused the tickets. The sort of a man we should be saving, not sacrificing. Valerie Duval, a single mother with 61 kills.
Particularly because they're all from different ethnic backgrounds.
Yeah.
But also because each one of them is from one of the different mega corporations that until recently was at war with each other.
And they've all got their own special abilities. Like the Asian guy, he's a heavy weapons expert, and then Devon Aoki, she's like the sniper, you know, and obviously Thomas Jane, he's like the Sarge, you know, and then obviously Ron Perlman's like the religious faith priest, you know.
So at the same time, that also makes me think of it like a role-play game where you have all of these different characters that are all going to fit a particular role in the mission, and that gets me excited. And it's also at this point in time when you look at all of the characters and go, I wonder which one is going to die first. If you had bets on the token black guy who we should have been rescuing, not sacrificing, you were right.
May I ask the borrow of a grenade, please?
But that's it. I mean, it's there are some really good dialogue pieces in this film. The acting, it's not Oscar winning. I'll safely say that. But when you have established good actors like Thomas Jane and Ron Perlman and Sean Pertwee and John Malkovich standing there, they deliver their lines like they fully believe what they're saying. So in a way, you fully believe in their characters and believe what they're saying as well.
It's the saving grace of the film, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's so much wrong with this film and so many, like, horrible budget, like, issues. But then all of a sudden, the script has moments where it's almost brilliant. And then the actors are delivering their lines with, like, they're proper getting into it and loving it. And like one of my favourite scenes is almost like the act off between Ron Perlman and John Malkovich, and it's like all of a sudden, like that scene pretty much illustrates the whole film. You know, like John Malkovich delivers an amazing line, and then like various things happen, and it spoilers, like John Malkovich's character is going to die. And then the scene that happens in where it's like his death sequence is really cheesy, where 4 mutants like stand on the table and all like do this like fucking boy band pose or whatever.
Do you even have a name?
So it's really cheesy, like filming sequences, but the lines and the acting is really like makes up for it and is really entertaining. So
it's impressive knowing that, I mean, John Malkovich only worked for 2 days on this film.
Yeah.
And I do like his scenes with Ron Perlman. They sort of have a bit of gravitas to it. It kind of helps you get invested in the story and into the film.
Yeah.
There's one problem I do have with Ron Perlman in this film, and that is his terrible Irish accent. It was so bad. I think he realised how bad it was, and then he actually dropped the accent towards the end of the film.
It conspired to remake man in its own image. And thus, the enemy created a machine. A machine that stripped the souls from the dead and dying.
And replaced them with its own dark essence. Nachdan, founder of our order.
The thing that makes me laugh, though, is I'd seen Ron Perlman. Obviously, if you've seen Sons of Anarchy, he pulls off this amazing performance in Sons of Anarchy as the head of biker group, and then you watch Mutant Chronicles, and you just see him with his dyed blonde hair and his goatee, and obviously, I am all about faith. And I'm like, really? You were selling meth yesterday to some other great gang?
It's come a long way since Alien Resurrection.
Oh, God.
Must be a chick thing.
But ultimately, you know, we're sidetracking. We are following a group of mercs going on a suicide mission, and so you literally just follow this group. And as a laugh, if you're not taking this film seriously, you could sit down with a group of friends and just have a drinking game. Right? Okay, you take bets on how long your character lives for, and when you die, you've got to down that pint. Up, your turn. Haha.
This film pulls no punches. Characters are introduced and killed off in unexpected, surprising, and in quick fashion.
Yeah.
And that adds to the tension because no character is safe in this movie. There are a lot of bloody, gory, horrific, violent, visceral deaths in this film, and a lot of them will catch you off guard. That, for me, keeps the film's pacing flowing at a rapid pace. There's lots of over-the-top action sequences. There's chase sequences. There's scenes where they're going down ropes into a bottomless cavern. There's huge firefights. There's trench warfare. There's steampunk-style ships. There's so much to take in. And even though the special effects can look awful, if you can get behind it and actually get to the point where you can appreciate the effort that has gone into it, I think you'll be pleasantly blown away.
Yeah, I agree. If they'd actually had, I don't want to say if they'd had a bigger budget, because they would have obviously just spent the bigger budget on better actors. But if they'd actually planned out some of the action sequences first and the special effects just a little bit more, then that would have actually backed up the acting that was coming with it. Like I said, the elevator sequence, you know, where they've gone underground and they have to go into a skyscraper, and Ron Perlman's like, we've got to go down like 500 floors to get to the bottom, and then they're just going down this rope, you know, and you're watching them and you're like, I know something bad's going to happen, so let's just get to the bad bit. And then they're all going down, but before they go down, Thomas Jane's like, one of us has to stay here. So the heavy weapons expert's like, I'll stay here. And he gets his weapon all ready and he slaps up his minigun. And then the mutants attack, and it's a fucking epileptic's nightmare. Just flash and flash and flash and all this fucking shit. I literally thought I was going to pass out. I was just sat there like, oh fucking hell, you know. It's just flash, 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 and I'm just like, why isn't there a wide shot?
They're doing white phosphorus as well, so it's all like really flashy, isn't
yeah.
it? Like,
and obviously comparing that to like we said, the way that it's filmed, it's very Sin City like black and white esque. That when something bright goes off, it is really fucking bright.
Like the blood splat to all the walls.
I do hate the repeated shots, though. I mean, one of the shots at the beginning when you have the trench warfare, you have one of the enemies throw out a chemical grenade into the trench, and so then you watch all the guys in the trenches start putting on their gas mask, and then it cuts to the same guy lobbing another gas grenade. And so you then see people spitting out blood and vomiting, and everybody's trying to pull their mask on. And then it cuts again to the same guy throwing another grenade. And I'm just like, I know he's the same guy because his two buddies are still stood behind him from the previous shot that I already watched.
this film kind of works if you lower your expectations. If you don't think of it like a Hollywood like spectacular, and think of it almost like a TV movie.
Yeah.
Then you go, oh, it's quite good for a TV movie. You know, it's really like, it's high budget for a like television, like say series type thing. You know, like, and if you think of it in those terms, it's very watchable.
It would have worked as like a 10 episode TV drama. You know, to just break up each one of the sequences. You could have released one episode a week. You know, and then obviously that would have spaced out each of the characters' deaths, and you'd have been like, oh shit, I was really hoping he'd survive a bit longer. But as an hour and a half movie, you kind of sit there. Well, I do.
A 2-hour movie.
A 2-hour movie. You get halfway through, like, he's next. She's next.
I really like this film. It's as you've already said, it is very cheesy, but it is so entertaining. And I think my favourite scene in the film that sort of comes out of nowhere in the middle of the film, and we're already seeing the devastation on the Earth, and we've already seen many ships evacuating, yet our heroes crash land 4 leagues away from where they need to be. And so while they're making their way there, they come across a sort of derelict town, and there's one evacuation ship that hasn't left yet.
Yeah.
The pilots of the ship are taking bribes and money to get a pass onto the ship. The heroes are just like, no, we haven't got time for this, we got to leave. And Thomas Jane's like, no, fuck that. And he just goes up there and he has a confrontation with this big black guy, which ends pretty swiftly.
Soldier boy, the ship can only carry so much weight.
Yeah? What do you weigh? 275.
310!
And then it just cuts back to the other guy.
What do you weigh?
Very little.
Dump the luggage, take them all.
And so for me that broke up the movie and just added more of what was happening to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Which I think is important in order to be able to relate to this fantastical thing that's happening to us.
See, for me, I wouldn't say I actually have any major favourite scenes in this film. A lot of it is just favourite dialogue. I love the opening sequence and the discussion between Sean Pertwee and Thomas Jane in the trenches. I love that little banter.
Sometimes I think that you don't believe in the righteousness of our mighty corporation, Sergeant. They don't pay me to believe, sir. Absolutely right. They pay you to fuck shit up.
I love the sequence where they've just come down the elevator shaft and all the mutants are coming down on top of them, and the German guy turns and says, any last words, and Thomas Jane just goes, "Shut the fuck up," and I'm like, yeah, that's a really good last word.
Any last words? Shut the fuck up.
But if I had to pick one good sequence, it would have to be Sean Pertwee's death.
Jesus. Listen to me. Listen. Finish your mission.
It's just really good.
That's how a lot of people have described feeling after watching this movie.
No. You remember that?
They felt like this movie was a bullet to the brain.
One of my favourite scenes was just like the little act off between John Malkovich and John Malkovich's appearance. It entertained me because he was clearly trying to give his all into those like couple of minutes that he was on the screen. And then there's like loads of cheesy little one-liners, and there was one bit where I laughed so hard because the one-liner was clearly set up, like it was so badly set up, where you got like the scene where the camera like moves in as he turns away looking like turns to the camera looking like a badass. Line.
What do you believe in?
I'm not paid to believe. I'm paid to fuck shit up.
Yeah, but you just like, you set them up and you're expecting them, and when they say them, you're like, way! So, it's just silly fun. And the little peaks and troughs like that, I'd say, like the film is pretty much, you have a really horrible piece of movie making, and then it'll be completely offset with a brilliant piece of like script delivery by one of these great actors. So real love-hate kind of job, It's brilliant.
I fully recommend Mutant Chronicles. I've been trying to get more and more people to watch this film. There is enough in here to get behind. It does feel like a Saturday morning cartoon made, PG-18. There's lots of blood and gore and death and flashing lights and bombs, explosions. It is an adventure movie. It is an action, horror, sci-fi. It is a bizarre blend of all of these things. And granted, this film is awful, but I fucking love it. And it's because of these one-dimensional characters that deliver such fantastic lines of dialogue that I actually want to rewatch it. I love the steampunk universe. I love the fact that it's a post-Fallout world. I love all of these cliches. They work very well in this film. It's definitely, or should definitely be, a guilty pleasure for more people than it is.
I recommend this film, but only with a warning. If you're looking for sci-fi, steampunk-esque, just over-the-top blood, gore, and guts horror, then there's enough in there to keep you going. The acting is pretty damn good. The lines are really fucking cheesy. But if that's what you're wanting, if you're there to have a laugh, then sit down and watch this film. For any other reason, avoid.
Abandon all hope. Motherfuckers.
If you're just looking for something to like switch your brain off, have a laugh, don't overthink it, and you're probably coming from like the kind of gamer comic book reading generation, then this film is enjoyable and you will enjoy it. It's good. It's a good laugh.
Have faith. You will enjoy this movie. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Well, fuck mankind. Fuck the world. Fuck you.